I had plans this evening to post 7 or 8 videos, all of them with witnesses. But I made 7 or 8 videos today, or yesterday, and I was gonna go post them. I was gonna go sit at a friend's house and use his internet from outside. Um, Several of those are conversations with police. I have to go up to low income tomorrow. I had a meltdown over all the abuse that I was taking. I guess it's already tomorrow. So today, I guess, I gotta go up to low income. They took all of my stuff out of my apartment and they put it in the carport where anybody can get it, anybody can steal it, anybody can grab it. They had no right to do that. No right to do that. I can't go up there and get it because they'll charge me with trespassing. I posted up a lot of stuff with Elijah McClain, and at first I read an article or two and it didn't say anything about autism. Every time I saw something about Elijah McClain, I posted it up. Didn't bother to read it, just posted it up. I never watched the videos because I didn't want to see him die. I still didn't finish the last one because I can't. From the parts of the video that I saw, I was able to extrapolate that he was autistic. I was so proud of myself. It's like, you see how they treated Elijah McClain for being autistic? Holy shit. If somebody would have been there to tell him, I gotta tell you something. When there's somebody there in person, it's a lot different than when you gotta go in alone. So I was gonna have a video breakdown of those 2 videos to show y'all. I was actually gonna chastise all of you because millions of people talking about Elijah McClain and nobody's mentioning the fact that he's autistic. Do they even know that he's autistic? I was thinking to myself, it's probably not possible to diagnose somebody with autism post-mortem, except in the case of those 2 videos, they literally prove that he's autistic in the video. And the police literally proved that the tactics that they used on me, they used on Elijah McClain, and it didn't need to happen. Elijah McClain didn't need that. I needed help. I got the autistic retard treatment. Most doctors are not familiar with autism. Most doctors are not familiar with autism. When an autistic person is in crisis, they get sent to a fucking loony bin and fucking injected with shit. This has happened to me 11 times since Natalie Bollinger fucking died. 11 times. People say, don't use autism as an excuse. Look at the way he was fucking treated. I have to look forward to that for the rest of my life. I can't stop the police from doing that. You can. You notice how the police treated me when I told them that I was autistic? They assaulted the fuck out of me. You also see how the cops treated me when there was somebody else there. It's a lot fucking different, isn't it? That means that they know what they're doing is wrong. The number one most likely people in the United States to be killed by the police are the disabled. And the most likely disabled people to be killed by the police are those of us who are autistic. That's number one on the list. Yes, I am number one on the list of people most likely to get killed by an officer. And I'm not black. The number two most likely people to be killed by a police officer. Now, number one, the disabled account for over half of those killed by police. Nearly half. This is where second place comes in. Nearly half of those killed by police are homeless. I'm sorry for that long pause. I know it bugs you, but I gotta not stutter. And guess what? I'm homeless again. I'm homeless because I had a meltdown because I can't get help stopping the abuse. So instead of a video breakdown, since obviously that's old news, everybody knows that he's fucking autistic, I'm gonna read an article to you that's racist as fuck. This one says, my black son who has autism is different, like Elijah McClain was. It makes me fear for his life more than I already did. The fact is, Elijah McClain wasn't killed for the color of his skin. His skin color had nothing to fucking do with it. Police protocol had everything to do with it. How people treat the autistic and their assumptions with the autistic is why Elijah McClain is fucking dead. It has zero to do with his fucking skin color. The top 5 groups of people most likely to be killed by police have nothing to do with skin color. Elijah McClain, a 23-year-old black man, was pulled over by 3 white police officers last summer in response to a call about a man who was acting suspicious and weird. McClain, A massage therapist tried explaining that he was just different and died after one of the cops put him in a chokehold. After learning of his death, Cherise Tracy, who has 3 black sons, became even more terrified for her youngest son who has autism. Holy shit, they're pushing the race issue, isn't they? They have mentioned the color of his skin and the color of their skin more often than they have mentioned autism. And they are focusing only on black people with autism. Only if they're black does it matter. Tracy worries how her 12-year-old son, who's prone to running away and being forthcoming with his feelings, will respond if he's ever confronted by the police. When I heard the final words of Elijah McClain, a 23-year-old black man who died last August, days after, yes, they typographically errored it, that wasn't me screwing up. Who died last August, days after being put in a chokehold by a white police officer. I heard my own 12-year-old black son's voice. I'm just different, McClain told the 3 white Aurora, Colorado cops who pulled him over after getting a call about a suspicious individual wearing a ski mask who was acting weird and waving his arms around. Immediately, I picture my youngest child, who is full of energy and often walks, runs, jumps, and skips outside for long periods of time while singing, humming, or talking. We are fortunate to have an acre of land where he can freely express himself without judgment or suspicion. We control his environment as much as possible, but I worry what would happen if he were to display this different behavior elsewhere. You can't. You have to control it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's exhausting. You have to pretend that you're one of the idiots. Neurotypical people are mentally fucking retarded, and it's not our fault. Stop punishing us for your retardation. You are the ones who are mentally ill for thinking that this shit is okay. For expecting us to just be able to turn it off. The other recordings that I made today, I will have to post them up later because I have to get some sleep, because I had a meltdown because the cops wouldn't do anything about the abuse. I have had to go through this my entire life. But my life ended over a lie by Natalie Bollinger because she wanted to have a scapegoat. She didn't want to tell the truth because she was embarrassed. She was embarrassed because I had a fucking meltdown over the same shit that all of these autistic people have meltdowns over. And I've had to endure more of it than all of them because I don't have a family that gives a shit. And my friends, just like most of these people that you're calling racist, make excuses why I wanted it, needed it, chose it, or deserved it. because I have autistic traits, and they come out even more under extremely stressful situations. And the more people talk over me and tell me what to do and what to think and how to feel, telling me I need to put myself in their shoes, well, guess what, motherfucker, I do? I do put myself in your shoes. You have never tried to put yourself in mine. We are the easiest people to railroad. The fact that I have so much of these things that I explained on my Facebook years and years before Elijah McClain's death. But you want to make it a black issue. They did it to him on purpose because they're black. I told you they tried to shove my arm above my head. In that video with Elijah McClain, you get to hear the same thing. That's their fucking protocol, asshole. Those of you pretending that Zaid Atkinson was targeted for the color of his skin, I want you to take a good long look at Boulder Police Department's history. These people do not want to target black people. They want to look liberal. They want to look like a utopian city. It's not going to look like a utopian city as long as there's homeless people there. See, here's the thing about Zaid Atkinson. Well, you guys are trying to pretend that this is a race thing. Zaid Atkinson playing off like he was targeted because of the color of his skin in a city where police are literally afraid of arresting a black man because of that explicit situation. Did I use the word explicit wrong? Actually, no. The Boulder Police, they don't have an established history of doing that. Do you know why that is? Because Boulder police officers cater to any black person that they meet that doesn't look homeless, because they might come from a rich family in Boulder, or they might play for CU football team. And those of you who want to say that's racist, not all black people can play football. Well, not all white people can play football either. Maybe he's there on a college scholarship for music or for physics. Who knows? The fact is, their parents might have money, and Boulder might get sued. And Boulder might have to pay out money. That's why they target the homeless. People want them college kids there. That's money, 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 money. But when people see poverty, they don't want to go. People are afraid of poverty. The way that Zaid Atkinson was treated, that line of abuse is well established within the Boulder Police Department toward the homeless. And I can prove that. I don't know how I'm gonna get internet access where I can just sit down and work on this. I mean, right now I'm having a panic attack because I can only download one video, and then I gotta try to get some sleep, and I probably won't. So I'm having a severe panic attack. I'm not even gonna finish that goddamn article. You only give a fuck if they're black. You want to turn everything into a black issue. If it's not, you will make it a black issue. Because you're a fucking racist piece of shit. The very same people who are posting about Elijah McClain treated me like shit for speaking up. Because I'm not black. They didn't mention a goddamn thing about autism. Wasn't even brought up. I told y'all, this is protocol. These police, they didn't kill Elijah McClain on purpose. But they sure as fuck instigated the situation on purpose. If police officers approached us like human beings and then listened, it would make all the difference in the world. But we can't get them to listen without you present. And we are more likely to be killed if we are alone. Fuck your goddamn racism, BLM. If people would have done something about this situation years ago, when I first spoke out, over 30 years ago, I want you to think about that. 30 years of trying to get help because I'm autistic. 30 years of being ignored also because I'm autistic. For at least 10 of those years, I fought hard not to get an autism diagnosis. Hard not to. Because I didn't want to be treated like this. Because I grew up in the system, being treated like Elijah McClain was, being treated like that very often, being picked on and beaten up very often. Because you're the one with the weird mannerisms, you're always wrong. The problem with most of the hospitals that I've been to is that they are not equipped or trained adequately to deal with an autistic person. In no way, shape, or form has the way that I've been treated been acceptable. But it is acceptable. Obviously. Now, they say that if you break down the disabled, you break down the number of people who are disabled, and you separate them into mentally and physically disabled, they're no longer number one on the list. They're number two and number three. So it's still higher after you break it in half. It's still higher than number 3, number 4, and number 5 on the list if you hadn't separated them. But if you separate them, the homeless are the most killed by police in the United States. Being treated like that is worse than death. I'd say Elijah McClain would be better off dead were it not for the fact that he had family that loves him. But if you don't have family that loves you, you're going to be victimized for the rest of your life. And you should be allowed to die rather than have to go through that.